Hi to all. Welcome to another session of Live with Panis podcast. This is a live session. We have our guest today, Nikita Daniels, the founder of LINQ, a friend entrepreneur that he through his events and initiatives connected a lot of people, investors, startup. We'll have a discussion about that and about the upcoming LINQ Conference that is in 2 days in Limassol, taking place. Welcome, Nikita, to Live with
Hi,
Panis.
Panis. Thank you for hosting me.
Yeah. If you want any questions, because this is a live session, feel free to drop them in the comments if you're watching this from LinkedIn, YouTube, or whatever channel we are broadcasting right now. Nikita, let's start with your journey, your personal journey. Tell us about your personal journey and how did you end up in Cyprus, basically. That's first. Yeah.
Well, my trip to Cyprus started in 2006 when I was 19 years old, and I moved to here with quite a large oil company, and I was doing operations as the middle manager. And since then, until 2011, we have covered a big path with doing investments in Cyprus and with doing lots of charity and sponsorship events. It was an interesting path. I left in 2011, but my story with Cyprus hasn't finished. I kept coming back. I would say every 2 to 3 months I was here. We had an office here. We grew an office into an 8 people company. And then I've become a head of the family office, and I was mainly managing the assets of a ultra high net worth family. And then in 2016, I have come to Cyprus, and I saw lots of people with laptops, with MacBooks, and I was quite amazed to see that let's say, an average expat face has changed drastically. And instead of bankers and oil men, I saw lots of youngsters who looked like metalheads. And I've realized that something is happening in Cyprus. And since then, I've started digging and realized that Cyprus is becoming a tech hub. And shortly after, I have decided to change my careers and pursue a career of I don't know who until now, but mainly in the industry of tech. And since 2018, I'm doing LINQ, which was called at the time Cyprus IT Forum.
Yeah, I remember the old days when came. I
Yeah,
think
that's
I
when we
came
met
to.
with you.
Yeah, this is. I came. I think in the second version of not the first. I don't remember. But
Yeah, I believe your Cyprus IT Forum 2019 was the one where we've met properly.
I think the first version was not so in English. It was more on the
Yeah,
Russian
yeah,
language, and
indeed.
then you change.
Indeed.
But tell us a bit about the journey. You are doing this event. You have connected many people, thousands, I would say, through this event. You have helped companies establish offices also in Cyprus. Tell us a bit about this journey. How did you came link to the LINQ concept?
Well, it was quite an easy decision in 2018 when I was helping a friend of mine move his game dev company to the island. And I realized that in order for us to be uh, to be growing the community of tech, we should somehow promote it. Now we should promote the IP box regime. We should promote the beauty of the island, the hospitality of the people here. Because regardless of what one may think, that the tax regime is the main driver of migration, it's also the hospitality and the cultural vibe of Cyprus that is attracting companies. And considering the fact that pretty much half of my life I've lived here, I perceive Cyprus as my second home. I realized that the best way to promote Cyprus and to promote tech in Cyprus is to do a conference. So that's how we started in 2018 on relocation. And then in 2019, we were the first conference to actually put as our motto business meets government. So that was our slogan for 2019 edition, and we've invited quite a few government officials, regulators, the founders of tech companies to the conference, so they could start mingling and they could start hearing each other. And shortly after that, coronavirus hit. So 2020 we've missed as an offline edition. We did again a conference on relocation, and after the corona has finished, we realized that Cyprus IT Forum has to develop, and it has to become less formal, less official, and more human being oriented and more business verticals oriented. And until now, we have got over 2,000 guests through the years, founders, executives, government officials, civil servants, you name it, bankers. So yeah, indeed, it was a pretty much a journey of 5 years, developing constantly into different vectors and trying to find our own niche and trying to define what is important for me as a human being, as a founder of conference. So this year we are focusing a lot on a human being, on an executive, on practical advice on how to manage the businesses. And one of the, I think, very vivid examples is a culture of mistakes that has been practiced in Silicon Valley for years now. I would say that one of the miracles of Silicon Valley is the culture of mistakes, where human beings, employees, founders are allowed to do mistakes, and where a failed founder is a much better asset to an investor where than a founder that hasn't done his mistakes yet. But if you look at the culture of, let's say, Western Europe startups and companies, and especially Eastern Europe startups and companies, you would realize that the culture of mistakes is not there. Even though it's been declared officially, in fact, any mistake of an employee is still counted as a fail that has to be punished by fines, by bad mouthing, by demoting the employees, and it, in my opinion, it's a big blocker for the growth of the company. So we will have a speaker who will be practically showing to the whole audience of 300 people in an hour how to deal with a mistake in your company, in your business, how to give a lesson to the team member, but also how not to be toxic and how to make out of that mistake an asset for the company rather than a loss. And in addition to that, we'll have many more other speakers. Those guys who are, I would say, in the avant-garde of the educational programs for executives, CEOs of companies who are, let's say, now in 2023 stand out as an example of the industry in terms of corporate culture and the high loyalty to the team and of the team to the company. And we'll have quite a few presentations on building an executive team in a way that is most effective this year. And I would say that mainly the program of LINQ will focus on that. And in addition, we have this year, together with Google, a Google camp, a game camp. So we'll be focusing on game dev, monetization, user acquisition, and M&A. Since me personally, I have come here with the game dev company, and I'm very interested in developing the game dev community here as well. Together with Google, I guess it's a very strong partner, and we'll probably be focusing more on M&A than operational things. But this is something that we're discussing now. Anyway, the LINQ edition is in 2 days, so now all our focus of the team and of our partners is on making this event beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, you have an impressive lineup of speakers. You have the Google Camp also. You have talks about mind, body, spirit. That's the I believe that's one
well,
of the
Mind
difference
Body
for
Spirit
other.
Tech,
Yeah,
it's
it's
it's something that we've chosen. Yeah, it's very different to what we've done before.
yeah, it's like a unique identifier of LINQ, I believe, in the future or now and in the future. You have also have seen in the speakers you have chess master coming in and combining all these and some other
Well, I think
very interesting people.
promoting the education has become some sort of a thing around 10 years ago, when let's say after the crisis of 2008, people have started realizing that they need knowledge to be successful. And since then, it has become a huge industry, a multi-billion-dollar industry, where people are swamped with various educational products that are bombarding them in Instagram and YouTube and advertisements, like Mind Valley, like I would say that Mind Valley and Gaia are the major players of the industry. And I've realized that if I wanted as a founder to cover all the topics that I'm interested at, I would need to be spending around 24 hours a week watching YouTube and doing sports. And for a founder to spend so much time, especially for me, like a family guy, is impossible. So you have to choose carefully which programs you want to follow and which give you the most effective result. So bringing Ernesto, who is the chess grandmaster, is one example of how a chess player can develop a mindset of a founder in terms of logic and in terms of intuition. And again, Ernesto, in just 45 minutes, an hour, shows typical examples of thinking and how you can deal with these mistakes of thinking and how you can use your brain more effectively, even though you might be a successful person already.
But you are going to have also some startup pitches, I'm seeing. Can you elaborate more a bit on the Google Camp also? What to expect to see in the Google Camp?
Well, Google Camp is a thing that we started last year together with Mariusz, who is the head of gaming in CEE. He is an excellent, energetic gentleman, a professional who spent 12 years in Google and has been moving horizontally a lot, and vertically and horizontally, and has got a very good grasp of the industry in general. And for the past few years, he's been with gaming, and we set on a journey to try and grow a community of game studios and venture capitalists, together with angel investors and publishers, who'd be able to meet in Cyprus and hopefully put Cyprus on a map together with Germany and US as one of the places where game dev companies can grow. But due to
I believe it's something that it's an industry that is growing a lot, probably after fintech. I would say the gaming industry is growing a lot to go there where you described, next to Germany, next to US.
I will give you a very private and secret sneak peek into Mariusz's presentation that is going to happen in 2 days. Data shows that investments in game dev in the first half of 2021 were at a level of $1.7 billion. The investments in game dev in the first half of 2022 were at a level of about $2.1 billion. And the investments in game dev in 2023, the first half, were at a level of $160 million. So you see a drop of nearly 20 times comparing to the previous year in investments in game dev, for a reason that after coronavirus, companies have had beautiful financial results. People were home, people were playing, the expenditure of the players was growing, time to time. The LTV was growing and companies had fantastic multipliers. And now after that, it's an expected downturn. It's an expected, let's say, stabilization of the market in 2023. And we expect that in 2024, the investments will go back. So yeah, indeed, it is a very prospective market. It is a very big market. It's a multi-billion market. And clearly, I would love Cyprus to be one of the places where the big deals are happening.
I believe we have what it takes to be one of the hubs. The tech talent is growing. More people are coming from Eastern Europe to live here, work here, and other regions. Because, to be honest, if we say that we have tech talent only from Cyprus, the volume is not enough to cover the needs of either fintech, gaming, or in general the tech industry. You need other people to feel Cyprus as a home, come here, work on these companies and build properly their life. I mean, like you, that you are from Cyprus, how many years now?
Indeed.
But something else also I liked about your events is the after parties and the parties that you host. That is a vital part of an all-around event. Can you tell us a bit, what is the Aura Back to the Future? It's something, it's just a name, or it's something like a concept of the...
I would say that a party has become for many people a similarity to leisure time. And for me, a party has become since recently a place where I can be myself, where I can meet new interesting people, and where I could possibly get something for my internal energy, rather than just spend the time, get drunk, and have fun. So Eora is a sort of a party where, first of all, we're always themed. It's the brand that we've developed together with my wife, and she's the soul and the heart behind the brand. And my company is rather an execution and let's say the driver of it. Eora is a themed event where people get dressed according to a concept, and Back to the Future is the concept of 70s, 80s. You can find the correlation with the name of the movie clearly. But in general, the whole conference this year is built up in the style of 1970s LA. And we have carefully and for a long time tried to give out a concept of this renaissance of tech that happened in the 70s in California. And this is something that I believe is happening now in Cyprus. It's very similar to California in terms of nature. It's very similar in terms of people who live here. And it's very similar in terms of the stage where California used to be in the 70s, where the Silicon Valley just started developing. And I guess that Aura Back to the Future is the after party of the conference that is perfect for the setting, especially considering that a lot of tech entrepreneurs for years have been traveling to Burning Man. And Eora is now called the Limassol's Burning Man. We are far away from being so great as the guys have been doing for the past 15 years. I love the Burning Man community. I love the values that it's promoting. I wish Cyprus would be ready at some point to host something like Burning Man. And I know that there are people who are pushing hard for this to happen, investing their own time and money and building teams for something like this to take place. Until then, we are Eora, and we are LINQ, and we are those who are trying to put people together with the same vibe, with the same frequency, and most importantly, with the same business interests.
But the event also has its, you have running, cycling activities also, and other stuff. So,
well,
yeah.
Indeed. As a founder myself, I have realized that the older I get, the harder it is for me to be energetic. to be in control of my body, to be in control of my stress. And the thing that helps me most is sports. I sometimes jog, I sometimes cycle, I sometimes do just home sessions with my own weight, but sports is a big part of my life. And recently I have started meeting people at jogs to discuss business with them. And I realized how powerful and fruitful this sort of time spent is. So we've implemented this into the program together with our partners, so people can experience the networking while jogging or the networking while cycling. It's an interesting way of meeting new business partners. That's why it's there, and lots of
it's there. I mean, especially in Web Summit that I visit every year in Lisbon, all the major deals are happening. These night summits, they have the surf wave and summit that is actually you go and surf with other people.
Yep.
This is a nice place to make a deal, especially between startups, VC investors, etc. But you have what I see. Okay, you don't disclose the place of the event in the website. Maybe I don't know if you want to disclose that. And also, you have 3 type of tickets: executive plus, and enterprise. You want to tell us more about the tickets? What is the difference?
Yeah, sure. Well, it's quite simple. We have some of our guests who are looking to be cost effective on their spendings, and especially corporate spendings. So for them, we have a standard ticket which is called executive. It's a good ticket that includes the access to everything, to all the after parties, and pretty much it's what you need to be at the conference. But at the same time, we have a few guests who are looking for a bit more comfort, who are looking for a bit more privacy, who are looking to meet speakers in person in the speakers area. And that's why, as any conference, we have this a little bit upscale ticket, which is a little bit more expensive and gives a little bit more opportunities to be, as I said, more private and more closer, to be closer to the speakers. And the enterprise ticket is a ticket that we offer to all the companies who are willing to send their executives, their teams, to our conference to learn something about us. Let's say without spending too much money, without engaging too many people in the process of buying tickets and seeing which one is executive plus and which is not. So an enterprise is an easy way for a team to come. And at the same time, it's an easy way for a startup to come. It's just slightly discounted and gives a little bit more understanding to us who is coming. So yeah, we've got lots of activities which are free, which you don't need a ticket for. Like, for example, our sports networking, our volleyball championship, our Sunday market, all of that is for free. So if only you're interested in the content that we provide, then you should get a ticket. And I believe that the content is an awesome value for money, because most of our speakers are charging 500 to 1,000 euros for their workshops and for their presentations. And it's extremely hard to get into the communities where the speakers talk. And due to the nature of LINQ and due to the community nature of LINQ, they've agreed kindly to come and speak at the conference.
Cool. I made a mistake before. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the location is warehouse, the new warehouse by IT Quarter. That we hosted and from Thursday, 14th of September until Sunday. Yeah. Cool. If someone wants to come and we discuss a lot of stuff, but what is your last comment, for example, for someone to join the conference? Yeah. And also I would love to have your comment on the events, tech events. We have a lot of tech events, especially in September in Cyprus, but I would love to have also your comment about the event industry and more specifically around tech. Yeah. How do you see? We have a lot of events in a weekly basis, actually. Yeah.
My message to the teams of all events that are happening in Cyprus is to be focused, to be confident that those events are needed. Even though I would say that Cyprus in September this year has been overloaded with events. I said it last year, but this year is double the amount of events. It never occurred that Cyprus has several large conferences running on the same days. Like I would note IFX Expo that is running next week, which I admire a lot, and the guys have made an enormous job, practically having zero resources to build an biggest international forex conference. And I wish them all the best. Also on the same dates, Reflect Festival would be running. Also on our days, I'm now at White Nights, the biggest game dev conference, one of the biggest in the world. Also, there is WMA happening, which is a rather famous brand for affiliates and let's say industries connected to iGaming and some forex verticals as well. I would say that whoever wants to visit LINQ has to know one thing. We are human-centered conference for people to find their co-founders, their executive teams, their executive managers who share the same values. And for us, and for me personally, there is only one strong belief. You can find anyone, anywhere in the world, who can be with good hard skills, we can be with beautiful soft skills, but the most important is the cultural fit. So if you want to find your people, come to LINQ, and I'm sure you will.
Great. Many thanks also for the invitation. If somebody wants also discount, can contact me. We have some discount for the tickets. Many thanks also for that, giving that discount to our network, to Panis network. Have a great event. Hopefully, it will be a great event. I'm sure of it. And I will see you the next days at the event.
I will see you very soon, Panis. Thank you for hosting me. Pleasure to see you always.
Okay. Bye bye. Thank you, Nikita.
Bye bye. Thanks.